nothing like that show. And he was talking about not trusting the Golden State Warriors. He was talking about how he trusts the Spurs, but doesn't trust outside of Steph, the individuals on the Golden State Warriors. And it got me to thinking about how we do the math on this one. Basically, we trust you if we've seen you do it. That's how we do that one, correct? So Kawhi Leonard, you might not have trusted him before you trusted him. Kawhi Leonard, we saw him miss a couple of free throws in a finals. The Miami Heat beat the San Antonio Spurs. Is that what it's based on, or is it based on anything else? Because we saw the Warriors do it as a team, but I can understand why you might not trust Klay Thompson anyway.
Is it possible that what you don't trust is the style of basketball that they play? Because it's unlike any style we've ever seen. And if they're not hitting their threes, are they capable of winning another championship?
Well, what would you like them to do? My point would be this. What more would you like them to do before you trust them? They didn't just merely win the championship.
Right.
They just annihilated everybody in their path this season.
They did.
So what, I guess win it again would be his answer.
Winning it again would certainly help for me. You know what? I understand what Bomani's saying. There is just something there. It's not Steph Curry. There is something there that you just don't trust. Like, I'm not – you said this yesterday. Usually a team like this goes on and wins the championship. And for whatever reason, I'm not certain this team's going to win the championship, and I can't exactly put my finger on it. The one guy I do trust, I'm with Bomani on that, is Steph Curry. I don't know if I trust the other guy.
They're the defending champion. They have the best player in the game, and they're better now than they were last year. If you don't trust this team, your standards of trust are askew.
One of the things that's interesting, and I might want to walk back something that I said yesterday, because I go back and forth on this one when it goes what the championship is going to come down to the Spurs and the Warriors. They've been by a wide margin analytically better than everyone in the sport. But the difference between those two teams has been next to nothing when you look at point differential and other things. And what I would really like to see, and this is a really good position that the Spurs find themselves in, and you don't get it very often. What I would really like to see is a game 7 between those teams when that one team that maybe you don't trust a little bit is playing for everything when it hasn't been in a game 7 and is playing for, we're going to be a historic choke job if we don't finish this thing against the team that if it loses in the Spurs, we'd shrug our shoulders and be like, yeah, they're supposed to lose. They haven't been as good all year as the Warriors. A game 7 in Golden State between those two teams in a situation where the Spurs are veteran and they've got all those players who have done it a million times before. I'd like to see that because we haven't seen the Warriors really tested. We've seen them down 2-1. We haven't seen them really tested. And what kind of test would that be against those guys? With those guys being in the rare position of nothing to lose. Like the Spurs find themselves in a situation where they're great. They have the same point differential as the Warriors. You can make the argument, can you not, that this is the best Spurs team we've ever seen?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. You can make that argument. Probably is the best.
But with nothing to lose.
With nothing to
because the stakes are going to be historically giant for the Warriors.
You're suggesting that all of the pressure would be on Golden State, which is true. Yeah. But in Steph Curry and that team, you don't sense that this is the team that's going to feel that kind of stage fright.
But you've never seen it either. You've never seen them in a game 7.
When were they pushed the most? Was it down 2-1 to LeBron and maybe that Memphis series
down
too?
2-1 to Memphis because they had their struggles with that team. Gosh, would I love to see that. Woo! Spurs with nothing to lose. Think about that one for a second. Cody's just going to be silent here because he fears the clock.
Oh,
he's just staring at the clock nonstop. No, he's been doing it all segment.
This was the Dan Levatar Show on ESPN Radio.
You got here from 1-800-Flowers.com. Make today the day you do something special for someone important in your life. Take it from me. Send them beautiful roses from 1-800-Flowers.com. Whether it's to celebrate a birthday, anniversary, or just because, which is the best reason, you want to make their day brighter. They'll love receiving roses from 1-800-Flowers.com and will love that you sent them. 1-800-Flowers is always our choice when sending flowers. They are the best. Here's the deal. 1-800-Flowers wants to help you make someone feel special this week, so they're giving our listeners a fantastic offer. Order one 1 dozen beautiful assorted roses, and they'll receive another dozen roses and vase for free, just $29.99, half off the original cost. You can't beat it, guys. This is a full bouquet of 24 roses plus a vase, guaranteed to make them smile for just $29.99. But this great deal is only available this week while supplies last. So order today. Take advantage, guys. It's simple. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com for your desktop or mobile device. Click on the radio microphone in the upper right-hand corner and enter Dan. That's 1-800-Flowers.com. Enter Dan.
ESPN Radio on demand. The Football Today podcast.
All right, Ben, how much tread does he have left on those tires now that he's into his 30s?
They really underestimated how difficult it was going to be to get Adrian Peterson back into an offense, lining up in the shotgun. They feel like now if you have a little bit more time, he is going to be a big piece of this offense. They just want to make sure that they use him smarter.
The Football Today podcast. Listen to it now on ESPNradio.com. Kobe, the final season. Tyronn Lue, head coach Cleveland Cavaliers.
The ultimate competitor. His work ethic when I was there, playing with him for 3 years. His will and his drive. You come into the gym, at 6 o'clock in the morning, he's already been there working. Now to see his career, the way it's grown, and just doing it for so long is just a tribute to who he is as a person and a player.
Continuing coverage of Kobe Bryant's final season begins weekday mornings with Mike and Mike, 6 Eastern, on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. How many titles can the Warriors win with this core? And how did it all come together so perfectly? Russillo and Cannell asked Golden State GM Bob Myers at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
The NBA playoffs on ESPN and ABC. You gotta believe in something. In the long shot, the hot hand, the chosen one, the open man. In back-to-back and back again. Tell me that you believe in the hustle play, the final shot. No time left to beat the clock. It's time to believe. The NBA playoffs on ESPN and ABC begin April 16th.
Hi, it's Paul Feinbaum. We'll go to Fayetteville, Arkansas, where Brett Bielema is prepping for his 4th season as head coach of the Hogs. Plus, your phone call.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, Tuesday on the ESPN Radio app and the SEC Network.
Many strange tales are told of this jungle, but none so strange as the quarry we call Mowgli.
Critics are raving about the Jungle Book.
What are you doing so deep in the jungle?
I have to go to the man village.
It's brilliant and wildly entertaining.
I could get used to this.
A cinematic masterpiece.
Can you believe it? How majestic.
It's the best time you'll have at the movies all year. We knew this day would come. The Jungle Book with PG. Parental guidance suggested in theaters this Friday.
Hi, everyone. I'm Barry Champion, here to tell you about a new ESPN podcast called Duncumentaries. When Dr. James Naismith invented basketball, he didn't put much thought into hanging the hoop at 10 feet, but that one little decision led to the emergence of the dunk.
The dunk is physical. When you dunk, you're doing it to someone.
And then, a rule change in 1979 altered the dunk's place in basketball forever. Hear the contentious history of the dunk and Duncumentaries. Available now on the ESPN app or on iTunes.
What if I told you some storybooks don't have happy endings? In the 90s, the Orlando Magic were a fairy tale team and a fairy tale setting, with larger-than-life characters like Shaq and Penny, and a Cinderella plot starring magical ping-pong balls and a talking puppet. This franchise seemed destined to become a dynasty, but quickly became a tale of what might have been. What if I told you, in an instant, the magic was gone? ESPN Films presents a 30 for 30 film presented by Mini. This magic moment, Thursday at 9 Eastern on ESPN.
The Warriors beat the Spurs and improved to 72-9, one win away from the all-time record. Up next, they face the Grizzlies at home tomorrow.
You don't really think about 72 wins, you just think about getting to the championship level, having that expectation every year.
Mike told me, go win the record, go get the record. We're almost there.
The Golden State Warriors, one win from the best record in the history of the NBA. Standing in their way, the Memphis Grizzlies. The Warriors and Grizzlies. Coverage begins tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN and on ESPN Radio.
Don't miss the Sports Huddle with Eric, Sean, and Jess Bola every weekday morning at 9.
Let the games begin.
On ESPN 1220 KGIR, Pete Gerardo.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Bob Picozzi. Friday will be the 69th anniversary of his first game in the big leagues, the first person of color to play at that level. Major League Baseball announced this morning it will fund 30 four-year Jackie Robinson Foundation scholarships. It's one for each team. MLB will also contribute $1 million to build a Robinson Museum in New York. He's making it look ridiculously easy. Rockies rookie shortstop Trevor Story is the first player in history to hit 7 home runs in the first 6 games of his career. ESPN baseball insider Tim Kirkshin thinks it's the best start to a career ever.
I believe it's in the discussion for the greatest start to a season by anyone in history. And no matter how many years they played in the major leagues, when you hit 7 homers in your first 6 games, again, he passed Willie Mays and Mike Schmidt and Larry Walker on that list.
Only 4 rookies in history have hit 8 home runs in the month of April. Story has 7, and it's only April 12th. Illinois has reached a financial settlement in former football coach Tim Beckham's wrongful termination suit. He will receive a one-time payment of $250,000. He was fired 1 week before the start of last season.
Want an easy way to see if you could save money on car insurance? Geico gives you 3. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Go online to geico.com or stop by the Geico office nearest you. 3 ways you could save 15% or more.
It's time for the best in local sports talk and play-by-play. It's SEMO, ESPN.
This is a local sports center update from Southeast Missouri's ESPN Radio Network.
I'm Eric Shawn. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Bertrand Law Firm. Visit TreyBertrand.com. The Cardinals pounded the baseball in their home opener at Busch. The Birds bludgeoned the Brewers 10-1. St. Louis banged out 10 extra base hits, no homers. 28-year-old rookie Jeremy Hazelbaker had 4 hits. He was a homer shy of the cycle and is now batting .526. Shortstop Aledmys Diaz went 3 for 5. He's hitting .533. Yadier Molina had 3 hits. Colton Wong, the only starter without a hit, 0 for 4. On the mound, Michael Wacha went 6 scoreless innings for the win. Game 2 of the series is tomorrow. Today's an off day. Mike Leake makes his Busch Stadium debut tomorrow. And the Cubs beat the Reds 5-3. Chicago is 6-1. The SEMO baseball team continues its annual home-and-home series at Arkansas State tonight. Red Hawks have won 3 of the last 4 matchups. It's a 6 o'clock first pitch. You can hear it on ESPN 92.9. Southeast Missouri State has announced 3 more men's basketball players will be departing the program. Guard Eric McGill has been dismissed. Forward Jalen Stewart, guard Robbie Dozier will transfer. The Blues open the playoffs at home tomorrow night against Chicago.
Get Sports Center updates every hour on Southeast Missouri's ESPN 92.9 FM and 1220 AM.
You're grilling for everyone on game day, and people are hungry. More than that, they're hangry, and it's 95 degrees out, and they're thirsty. That's right, people are thrangry. They need to chill, and that gives you an idea. You remember Coors Light is filtered and bottled cold, so you pass some cold ones out. Suddenly, it's like they're snowboarding in the majestic Rocky Mountains, speeding away from the peaks of Thrangry and down the slopes of Aw Yes, so they make with the cheering and let you get with the grilling. Well done. Now it's time for your Coors Light. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Great beer, great responsibility.
The conversation has been growing about Wings Etc. See, Wings Etc. has those award-winning jumbo wings. They're popular for both dine-in and carry-out. Now the word is getting out about Wings Etc.'s appetizer lineup. From the ultimate nachos to the deep-fried pickle spears, frankly, they're irresistible. Friends are sharing time together at Wings Etc. They've got dining rooms filled with HD TVs tuned to the best sports programming, including NFL Sunday Ticket. The people at the next table are talking about Wings Etc.'s daily half-pound lunch special, starting at just $6.49. Plus, Wings Etc. has food and drink specials throughout the week, including 59-cent wings every Monday. Plus, there's the kids menu, and Wings Etc. is family-friendly with video games in the dining room. And the whole community is excited about how Wings Etc. is locally owned and operated, and they're proud to support local athletes, their families, schools, and teams. I guess Wings Etc. is a really big deal around here.
Okay, this is the time, and your local Ford dealer is definitely the place. Why? Because this is Ford Truck Month, folks, where you can save big time on Ford F-Series, the #1 selling trucks in America for 39 years straight.
Let me hear you say truck. Yeah, let's click it on up. Yeah.
Ford F-150 and Super Duty, making every other truck brand history. This is the time, and this is Ford Truck Month. See your local Ford dealer today.
And now, your ESPN Radio Network local weather forecast.
National Weather Service calling for sunshine, about 61 today. Tonight, cold down to 37. We'll hit 66, sunny tomorrow. Slight chance of rain on Thursday with a high in the middle 60s. Same for Friday, about 69. And Saturday, 72, 75. Plenty of sunshine by Sunday. And next Monday, a slight chance of rain in 73.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast right here on the ESPN Radio Network.
Well, dude, obviously you'd be better as the focal point of the show. Would I be better for society? No.
Don't miss Russillo and Cannell every weekday at noon on SEMO ESPN. This is a proud presentation of Mississippi River Radio Sports, the sports authority.
And now, at last,
it's time for the Red Hawks Coaches Show on the SEMO ESPN Radio Sports Network.
I have more to tell you.
The Southeast Coaches Show airs every Tuesday at noon on ESPN 92.9 FM and 1220 AM. Live from Wings Etc. in Cape and Jackson. This is your chance to delve deep into the Red Hawks spring baseball, softball, football, tennis, and track season.
Now, ladies and gentlemen,
let's go live to Wings Etc.
Let's go!
Right here on SEMO ESPN.
Welcome in. It's another edition of the Red Hawks Coaches Show. We are at Wings, etc. It is the second of our 5-part spring edition of the Coaches Show, and we've got a lot to discuss today, especially with the women's walk coming up on Saturday at Southeast Missouri State University, and we hope that you'll be able to join us for the women's walk coming up on Saturday. We'll give you all of the information that you will ever need to know about what exactly you need to do to get in position to help with all of the athletic scholarship raising and all of the funding that goes on for athletic scholarships. What we want to do first is invite you to join us for lunch. In addition to their award-winning jumbo wings here at Wings, they have both dine-in and carry-out, by the way. They have a full menu, and it features their freshly made burgers, their wraps, their subs, quesadillas, entree salads. They have smoked ribs on the menu as well. Their appetizer lineup includes their ultimate nachos and their spicy deep fried pickle spears. And the first thing you'll notice, all of the high-def TVs tuned into the best sports programming, and you can watch Cardinal baseball beginning again tomorrow. Cardinals are off today after the big win over the Milwaukee Brewers. Game 2 tomorrow night, and Wings is your headquarters for Cardinal baseball. Let's welcome in Cindy Gannon, and I always want to try to make sure I get exactly her position correct. Senior Associate Director of Athletics, Senior Woman Administrator at Southeast Missouri State University. Cindy, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am well. This is year number what for you at Southeast?
For the walk or
yeah,
for
no,
me?
No, for
oh,
you.
For me, okay.
Now, and you can include undergrad and graduate if you would like.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is accounting undergrad. This is, 33?
There you
34
go.
years. It's a long time.
Well, you've seen a lot of transition over the years. Tell us specifically the transition you have seen with women's athletics at Southeast Missouri State, because that's where you're directly involved on a day-to-day basis.
All right. Well, Eric, we're really proud of where we are with our women's athletics program. I had a student athlete that spoke, a few weeks ago at a reception we had, and she stood up and she said, how exciting it is. And actually, I think we're going to hear from this young lady later in the show. But she stood up and she said she tells her friends that, what we do for women's athletics and how we celebrate women's athletics. And they talk about, how cool that is, that we take a day. Not only do we just celebrate women's athletics for one day, but we celebrate what our women do. I mean, our women, I was sitting out, I think I did a show with you this morning, and I was watching soccer practice at 8 o'clock this morning, and our women get out there at 6:30 and practice. And I don't know if people realize all of our athletes work hard, our male athletes, our female athletes, but there's a lot of time put on the court, on the field that they put in to really, really represent Southeast Missouri State. So I'm just honored to be a part of a university who appreciates what we do, and all of our athletes do, but really what our women athletes do. I think it's really important.
That athlete is Riley Hayes, and she will join us a little bit later on. She plays for the softball team. She is a catcher, and she also writes for the Southeast Arrow. So she is involved in the tremendous field of media.
Well, Riley says she doesn't like to do things like this, but I think we're giving her a good resume building. That's what I told her.
We'll talk to her a little bit later. Now, the Walk for Women is Saturday. Now, this is year number 9. Does it seem like it's been 9 years since you spearheaded this Walk for Women?
I can't believe it. Cindy Knutson here today, and she was with me from the very beginning. Her and Kim Mothershead were the two people that really were my champions when we came to making a decision to start this. We sat in a room and we said, can we make this happen? Is this something that we can get people to really buy into and really invest in and really come out and support women's athletics? And here we are 9 years later, close to $425,000 in. I'm hoping that I'll be around for the $500,000 walk.
140 student athletes have been assisted with what you have done with this walk.
Yeah, and I mean, we put a number on that, but I don't know that you can really put a definite 140 student athletes. That's a round number. I mean, when you think about the dollars that we've raised and the challenges that universities have, the community doesn't realize what they're giving to us and what they're giving to our student athletes, and how nice it is for us to be able to say that's a part of our program that's really doing well, and that's scholarships. And really that's our livelihood. That's what we go out, we recruit student athletes and we tell them they're going to come to Southeast and have a great education, get an opportunity to play a sport that they love, get an opportunity to grow as a human being, but they get their scholarship paid for, and it's because of the contributions that our community makes and the generosity that they have toward really wanting Southeast Missouri State to be a special place.
Cindy Gannon is here. She is a senior woman administrator at Southeast Missouri State, associate athletic director at Southeast as well. You mentioned the figure $425,000. So that means with this year's walk, you're closing in on $500,000 during the entire run of this women's walk.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I know we've got our lofty goals. We always set our goals high, and people look at you and say, boy, I don't know if you guys will make that, but we're on target. I mean, we've got a really good pace going right now. And if the weather's good and we have a good walk up, we may hit it. I don't know. We're hoping.
What's the weather forecast looking like?
Well, it was, I don't really want to say right now. I think it was like 30% chance for rain or something in the morning.
That means it's 70%
right.
chance it's not going to rain.
Absolutely.
Right?
We've been so fortunate the last 8 years. I don't think we've had weather that maybe 1 year, Cindy's motioning 1 year that we may have had people had pulled their umbrellas out, but the weather's been on our side most of the years, and it's maybe a little bit chilly, maybe drizzling a little bit, but always a good day to come out and support the athletes and take a walk around campus.
You mentioned Kim Mothershead. We lost her far too soon, but what a wonderful lady she was.
Wow. I mean, I called her friend for a long time, but really, she was just the kind of person that everybody wanted to be around. She just had a magic about her. And, I remember the walk that we had a group of women, we call them our strike force. And there's been several people in the community that are involved. I see Tina Weber's out here and Cheryl Ziegler's out here, and they've been involved this year. And Cindy Knutson was with me from the beginning. And, I met with Kim, and I don't think people realize the impact that she had on people and in their lives, and the positive that when she brings to anything that she was involved with was positive. And I remember the day our group decided we were going to name the Kim Mothershead Award for the team that raised the most money. And I remember telling her that at our walk, and, we shed a few tears together, and what an honor it was for her. And she said, you don't have to do this. And I said, Kim, I know we don't have to do it, but this is something that we want Kim Mothershead to always be associated with the Walk for Women. And I want people that hang that Kim Mothershead plaque on their wall to know that that really means something to our program, and it means a lot to Kim and her family, and just the history. A lot of times events like this can come and go, but when you build tradition and you build history with something, I think that's what sustains it. And I think that's what makes this event so special, is we've got a lot of people who've invested a lot of their time into the event.
For those who may not be as familiar with the Women's Walk, let us know how the logistics are going to go on Saturday and the format.
Well, check-in, we're actually taking check-ins now, and we have a day today. It's called Turn In Tuesday. That's at First Missouri State Bank. We had a little hiccup, and our T-shirts got a little delayed. But people can still register at the bank today. And then we're going to do some deliveries on, I think Nate's out here and Phil's out here, and we're going to do some deliveries on Thursday and Friday. And
I saw a thumb go up back in the corner, so I think they are here.
We're going to do some deliveries on Thursday and Friday to try to get T-shirts out to people. But don't have to, if you want to register online, you can go to GoSoutheast.com and get information on registering online if you want to prepay and have that taken care of. Or you can show up on Saturday. We'll have check-in tables, and you can just sign up on Saturday and walk up, and we'll give you all the information. You get a great T-shirt. We got a really cool hat we're giving away this year for people who donate $70 or more. Coach Hogan hooked us up with some hats this year. So
he's got a hat connection.
Yeah, he does have the hat connection.
Let's talk about what people need to do to get involved, because not only can you individually participate, but you're also encouraging the teams, and that's really the primary thing. You're going to have a lot of teams, right?
Right. Well, we have a lot of people who kind of make it a fun event. I know I can pick on Cheryl Ziegler again, but Wheezy's Wacky Walkers make this they make it a
wait.
Wheezy's Wacky Walkers. Yep. I think it has something to do with her sister or something. I don't know, something like that. But they have a fun time with it. They do all kinds of activities. I think I owe somebody some money for some dumplings, and they make dumplings, and they sell raffle tickets, and there's something they call a bull drop. But
if you're owing Wheezy's Wacky Walkers something, if you owe them, I think I would pay up. They sound like they may be knuckle breakers.
Well, they're the reigning champions for the Kim Mothershead Award, so they put up some pretty good numbers, and but the teams make it fun. We've got the team swag. It's the Southeast Women. Nate, what is it? Swag Southeast Wives and Girlfriends. We've got that team. We've got Soulful Walkers. I mean, there's just all kinds of fun names. If you go on the website, you'll see everybody has their team set up with some pictures on there and kind of what their goal is for the walk.
Now, this is also an opportunity for you kind of to rub elbows with coaches and people in the athletic department and student athletes. I know a football team's going to be there. A lot. Don't just say go on the football team. There are going to be a lot of student athletes there.
Yeah, we have all of our student athletes there. The only teams that won't be represented this year are softball. They'll be playing on the road, and our tennis team is in Nashville. But other than that, all of our athletes will be there, and they do face painting. It's fun to see their artistic abilities that they come on and they'll paint on the kids' faces. And we have balloon blow up, and we have on the football field, we'll have soccer goals set up, and we'll have our football team out there playing catch with them. And, it's just – I know people see our student athletes on the field, on the court, and it's just nice to get to see them in a different, they can actually just be people, and they can actually, you walk up and say hi to them, and just kind of get to know their personality off the field and off the court, because it's hard when you watch them. I mean, they're competing, and you're seeing a whole different side of them.
I know that my daughter, my two daughters, but specifically Chloe, went to Rowdy's Winter Wonderland, which is what you put on around Christmas time at the Show Me Center during basketball season. And Connor King was one of the women's basketball players that was there. And she still talks about how awesome Connor King is, because she was nice to her at that and helped with the face painting. And I think they did some sort of a craft together. And she was so moved that Connor King, this great women's basketball player at Southeast, took time to talk to her and work with her and help her at Rowdy's Winter Wonderland. I mean, it made an impact.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that our student athletes realize the impact that they can have on young people to aspire to be like them. We tell them that all the time, but I think when they see students or young kids come up to them and look up to them and want their autograph, I mean, that's something special. And I think that's something that our community, and our university should be proud of, is that we have those kind of students for young girls and boys to look up to want to be a softball player or a soccer player at Southeast. And they can do that. And our student athletes, we tell them all the time, it's about giving back. It's not just about taking, it's about giving back to the community. And events like this allow our folks in the community to see that our student athletes do want to give back, and they do appreciate everything that everyone does for them in the community.
And one thing, it's the Walk for Women's Athletics, or the Walk for Women. But this money raised isn't strictly for women's athletics. It's for athletics.
Correct. And, the NCAA has guidelines for us as far as how we need to distribute our money. It's called this little thing called Title IX. And so we're monitored pretty closely on how we distribute our scholarship dollars. So, we want to always do our best to be compliant with Title IX. And I think people appreciate the fact that we take that seriously and that it does get the opportunity to help all of our student athletes. I mean, right now we're looking at, more of our student athletes are going to summer school. More of our student athletes are trying to graduate within that 4.5-year window and not dragging it out to 5 years. We want to give them an opportunity to compete, get a great education, and then get out and make their impact on the world. So, we try to advise them through that, and hopefully they'll be out here, and, summer school helps with that. So, all the dollars that we have from this walk all benefit those things and help our students get the opportunity to get a degree, get out of here, and go out and make a huge impact on the world.
So the people that want to walk, what do they need to do? And the people that say, hey, I may not be able to attend the walk, but I want to help.
Well, you can, registration is $25, and that's if you want a T-shirt, and then you can obviously give more if you want the hat, and you wanted some special prize drawings, and that's all outlined on the website. If you can't attend the walk and would like to make a contribution, you can do that online as well, or you can contact us at our ticket office or go to GoSoutheast.com and get more information, because all the dollars that people donate, and this is the one event that we do where we say, this is exactly where your dollar's going. Your dollar is going to the scholarship program at Southeast Missouri State. And I can tell you that for the last 8 years, every dollar that we've raised has gone to our scholarship program, and we have not wavered on that one bit. It truly has benefited our student athletes from our scholarship standpoint.
Okay, mom and dad on Saturday saying, wait, we've got 3 children. How are we gonna swing the women's walk? Oh, wait a minute. This is designed to help mom and dad. There are plenty of things for the kids.
Well, we've got Andy's ice cream. We've got face painting. We've got balloons that we're going to have, our first students. We're going to have games going on. It's $5 to register. If you want a T-shirt for your child, it's $25 for you and $5 additional for your child to register. So the kids will have a different color shirt, so they won't get lost in the crowd. And we even have some requests for some onesies this year, so we'll have some onesies available.
And one thing that you have tried to do, the course where you will be walking is stroller friendly.
Yes, and we have walked, there's years when there's been some construction on campus that it's been tough to find a route without steps or huge hills on campus. But this year, Rachel Blunt, our assistant athletic director for compliance, I put her in charge of the route, so she assures me that it's a stroller friendly, easier route.
The pressure's on Blunt now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're going to make sure that I have to let her know that.
All right. Now, as far as arriving, you want to get the walk going by 10. You'd like everybody kind of to be there by 9 o'clock?
Be there at 9. If you've pre-registered, we'll have 2 check-in stations. One will be already registered and one will be need to register. You come in, kind of visit. We do have a special MC this year. Audra Kane's going to be our MC this year, so we're excited about her.
The Hurricane.
The Hurricane is going to be our MC this year, so we're excited about that. And then we'll, have a few people that will speak, and then we'll get out about 10, walk 10:30. We come back. We got some great food. Chick-fil-A donate some food. We got Andy's ice cream. We've got Pepsi products. So we'll have some food and visit a little bit and meet with the athletes and kind of mingle, and then we're usually done about 11:30.
And then there are more things that are going on when the walk is done. I mean, that's not the end. That's not the end of the program.
Oh no, we got Capahall Park. I think we've got a tailgate scheduled there. Baseball team will have a big series this weekend at Capahall Park, and I don't believe football scrimmaging. I think they're not scrimmaging on Saturday. I think they're practicing on Friday, but they'll be there. So if they are scrimmaging, everybody will know that. And then we've got alumni volleyball game that's going to take place. We've got some alums coming in, and then we'll have an alumni soccer match taking place that day as well. So lots of activities going on after the walk.
Now, before those activities get going, though, you're going to feed everybody.
Yep, absolutely. We'll have Chick-fil-A chicken biscuits and muffins and all kinds of good stuff.
All right. It's going to be fun. And again, it is the 9th annual Walk for Women, and it will be this Saturday at Houck Fieldhouse. In your 33 years from when you first stepped on campus at Southeast Missouri State. What has Title IX done for women's athletics?
Well, I think, it's definitely created more awareness. And I think that, I think that the women have seen, I don't want our women that are competing now, I want them to know that what they do is important and they're getting treated, they're traveling the same way, they're eating the same way, they're getting the things that all the years of Title IX have been about equality and getting the same opportunities. We got a ways to go, but you know what? I am proud to work at a university who says we appreciate women's athletics. And I can sit here and say that we do it the right way. And I know that if we're not doing it the right way and somebody calls us out, we're going to make sure we get it right. So we appreciate our women. We appreciate our men. We appreciate what we do every day. But Southeast Missouri State is a great place to be. And Title IX is important. And I'm not saying other people don't take it seriously, but, it's something we really do take seriously. And I think people know that, and they appreciate the fact that we do that.
Cindy Gannon, Associate Director of Athletics at Southeast, Senior Woman Administrator at Southeast Missouri State University. Now, were you the volleyball coach for 16 years? Is that right?
That sounds about right.
Okay, well, I want to get the numbers right. 8 OVC championships, and when you say volleyball alums, are some of your former players?
Actually, there's going to be a few. They've texted and said they wanted to get together on Friday, so I don't keep as in touch with them as I should, but our current coach, Julie Yankus, does a really good job of reaching out. So there'll be several alums, and we'll probably meet up this weekend.
All right. I want to talk to you about facilities and all of the money that has been pumped in to various facilities, men's facilities, women's facilities. Give us a little synopsis of what we have seen over the last few years. I think people visually who attended Red Hawk basketball games this season saw the upgrades at the Show Me Center. Those are obvious, but there have been a lot more than just that.
Well, I think there's things, we're constantly looking at our facilities and what we need to do to upgrade. And, from an outside, you look at it and you say, well, you need this facility, you need that facility. But, the facilities that we have, we also have to make sure we take care of those and upgrade those. I mean, I think, we had a new sound system at Houck, which was a vast improvement. Yeah. All those things cost dollars, and we have a strategic plan that we have as far as how we're going to make those things happen. Show Me Center was huge. I mean, I don't think anybody can say how much of an impact that video board has on just in the atmosphere that's created in men's and women's basketball.
The lighting.
The lighting, yeah, absolutely. Huge. We got air conditioning in Houck a few years ago. We have locker room upgrades that we've done. We have our softball facility. If you drive back down through there and see what we've done at softball with the new backstop and the new windscreen's going to go up, and we just got a lot of things. The Red Hawk heads on the screen. I mean, poles. Those are little things that we just continue to try to do to upgrade. I know there's going to be some major renovations at Capitol Hall Field, joint effort between the university and the community, and I think people are going to be really impressed with what we have going to happen down there. Hopefully, going to be done by next December. So those will start, and I think that'll be a visible improvement. We did some renovations to the press box last year in football, had some nice new banners put on the outside, kind of hides the press box a little bit. But we're constantly looking. Weight room, we just had a great renovation to our weight room, thanks to a contribution from a great donor, Dr. John Holcomb and his family. And we're going to upgrade our Success Center. Our academic center is now our next phase of what we're going to do there. And then we're also going to be probably in next summer or moving forward implementing a new athletic training facility in that building as well. So that's going to really become a hub for our student athletes and kind of a one-stop shop as far as academics, strength and conditioning, and sports medicine. So, we're looking at that. We're going to be looking at building a tennis locker room facility down at the tennis courts. They don't have a locker room. So we're looking at that. And then another phase will be a locker room for our track team. So there's always, I think people don't realize, I think about putting people on the field and putting on uniforms, but there's a lot that goes into it as far as looking at strategically planning how you keep your facilities up to speed, so it does make it attractive for student athletes to come to Southeast.
I think everybody saw the upgrades at Houck Stadium for the football program. It's a lot more than just for the football team. Soccer plays there.
Right.
That's an upgrade for them with the brand new turf, because this turf has gotten a lot more state-of-the-art SEMO was the first 1AA facility in the nation to install field turf in 2000.
Right.
There were 2 Division 1A programs, but SEMO was the first 1AA. So you kind of, the company that made it, Field Turf, it was a guess on the shelf life of this product because it was new.
Right.
Well, when you upgraded, you also upgraded facilities for the soccer program and the baseball and softball teams on days where it is sloppy, it's springtime or wintertime, it's cold, you can't get on the field, they can come over to Houck Stadium. So these upgrades really are crossover upgrades for multiple programs.
Right, absolutely. You know, we got a long turf life out of the turf we had. You know, it was time. But I'll tell you, when we did this turf the last time, we went with the best, latest product that they have, and I think our teams that use it can attest to that. It's a nice turf, and I think that you know, it just says a lot for the university that they make. That's a huge commitment when you have to replace that turf.
And the scoreboard at Houck Stadium, that makes it a much better experience.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we talk about the little things and just the aesthetics that we have and the signage. And I don't think people realize we just wrapped our film tower over at the football stadium. You know, we just put some graphics and some windscreen around the tower. And we're really trying to make an effort to brand Southeast Missouri State. You know, when you walk into a facility, we want people to just see Red Hawks everywhere and know that, you know, there's no question of what campus you're on or what our mascot is, that you're going to be a part of something special when you're part of the Red Hawks.
Goshi would like more signage in his parking spot in the end zone at Houck Stadium. And I was supposed to pass that along to you. Can you run that up the flagpole?
Well, Nate and Phil are back there working the deal right now.
Okay.
I can tell. Yeah,
well,
they got it going. Yeah,
there are intense conversations back in the corner. And as far as the Kappahaw Field upgrades, that's going to involve indoor hitting facilities, as I understand it, for not only baseball, but also softball.
Well, there's going to be a 2-phase. And I think the first phase is that, you know, it's going to look like it's going to have artificial turf, and there's going to be some new fencing and new scoreboard. And I think that's phase 1.
Okay.
And then I think, yes, that there is an indoor batting facility that's in place or in plans. But I think they want to get the field improvements done first, and then the university will take on the responsibility for the indoor batting facility. So that's going to be a 2-phase process.
So this is a 2-phase project where donors have stepped up and said, hey, we want to support these programs.
Right, absolutely. And I think, you know, you'll see some other opportunities to engage in some opportunities to give to some of our facilities. Obviously, all these things, the university has us on the strategic plan. They fund it to a certain extent as to what they can, but we rely on some private donations. And again, like Dr. Holcomb, you know, with his donation came through, and, you know, we'll be able to name that the Holcomb Success Center. So naming opportunities and things like that. So, you know, I kind of try to stay out of that area. That's kind of Nate's specialty. So I kind of just listen to conversations and try to be supportive on that.
So we're talking about an artificial surface at Kappahaw Park, and that is in the very near future.
That's in the plans, yes. I mean, I know there's a few, I guess, processes that has to go to get blessings through the city, but you know, that's been in the conversations that have taken place. So that's the last conversation I heard, that it will be artificial turf.
Is it? Are we talking infield and outfield, or just infield and natural grass?
I'm thinking the whole field, but Phil, you asked the question yesterday, so I think it was the whole field. So.
All right, well, yeah, that would be absolutely huge.
Yeah,
I mean, the one spot where it's tricky for baseball is it's a city park,
right?
And so when improvements are there, those are city improvements and not with the university. I know Belmont has the exact same scenario in ES Rose Park in Nashville, but it has really worked well with the city. But that's an interesting wrinkle that the university really doesn't have to encounter in its other facilities.
Right. Well, I mean, now the Show Me Center to some extent.
Right. Okay.
You know, we deal with the,
Yeah,
you know,
good
we
example.
have some cooperative efforts that we have to work with there. But I think the university and the community city realize what a special venue Kappahaw Park is. You know, if you look at any facility in the OVC, I think you'd have to say that, I mean, how many would we have? 2,500 fans out the other day to watch college baseball. I mean, that's a special place, and I don't think we want to lose that. I think our team appreciates playing in that kind of atmosphere, and I think the community appreciates that they can come to Kappahaw Field on a Friday afternoon and watch great college baseball.
Eastern Illinois, by the way, will be the opponent this weekend. Red Hawks are they're one game out of first place in the loss column behind Jacksonville State, and they will play them in 2 weeks down in Jacksonville. Now, you mentioned air conditioning at Houck Fieldhouse. How many years were you running your athletes in there and your volleyball team and trying to practice in hot conditions with no air conditioning? You must have some stories.
How many years did I coach?
16. I believe it was 16.
Yeah, that's probably 16 years of not. Yeah, I always jokingly said I had to become an administrator to help get air conditioning in house.
Well, it's always the next coach that gets the upgrades, right?
Right.
Well, tell us? I mean, how would that even go? I mean, you would be limited, I would think, on the length of the sessions that you could even have.
We'd go early morning, and then we would go late in the evening, and we would try to avoid the middle of the day. If we could, but it was hard to getting people to come in and play here because they'd say, when you go to schedule, they'd say, "Do you get air conditioning yet?" I'd say no. They said, "Well, we'll see you in late October." They didn't want to come to Houck and play, and I never told my recruits. I hate to say this, but I wouldn't tell the recruits. They'd come in the winter, so I never would mention that we weren't air conditioned, and then they'd get here in August and they'd say, "When are we going to turn on the air conditioner?" I'd say, "Oh, we don't have it. We don't have any air conditioning."
Did you ever have a recruit bright enough to ask you in the wintertime if you had AC?
I did have a dad that called me back. A dad that called me and said, "Hey, by the way, you didn't tell me if your facility was air conditioned." And I said, "Well, it's not." So needless to say, we didn't get her.
That was another school recruiting their kid knew you didn't have.
They say, "Call back and ask if they have air conditioning."
There you go. All right. Again, Cindy Gannon, thanks so much for letting us catch up with you. And again, for anybody that's still not too late, it's not until Saturday. This is only Tuesday that wants to get involved, and this Saturday is Walk for Women.
Absolutely. 9 o'clock Saturday. Come out, join us, and it's going to be a great day.
All right. 140 student athletes have been assisted. That number is probably higher. 48 scholarships created. They are closing in with a good Saturday on $500,000 raised for athletics. Cindy, thanks so much.
Thanks, Eric. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Cindy Gannon, Associate Director of Athletics at Southeast, Senior Women's Administrator. We will take a timeout here from Wings Etc. We're in the Jackson location. Don't forget, we'll be back in the Cape location next week, Tuesday at 12 noon. Red Hawks softball player Riley Hayes is going to join us when we come back. It's the Coaches Show at Wings on SEMO ESPN.
Game day, and people are hungry. More than that, they're hangry, and it's 95 degrees out and they're thirsty. That's right, people are thrangry. They need to chill, and that gives you an idea. You remember Coors Light is filtered and bottled cold, so you pass some cold ones out. Suddenly it's like they're snowboarding the majestic Rocky Mountains, speeding away from the peaks of Thrangry and down the slopes of yes. So they make with the cheering and let you get with the grilling. Well done. Now it's time for your Coors Light. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Great beer, great responsibility.
The conversation has been growing about Wings Etc. See, Wings Etc. has those award-winning jumbo wings. They're popular for both dine-in and carry-out. Now the word is getting out about Wings Etc.'s appetizer lineup. From the ultimate nachos to the deep-fried pickle spears, frankly, they're irresistible. Friends are sharing time together at Wings Etc. They've got dining rooms filled with HD TVs tuned to the best sports programming, including NFL Sunday Ticket. The people at the next table are talking about Wings Etc.'s daily half-pound lunch special, starting at just $6.49. Plus, Wings Etc. has food and drink specials throughout the week, including 59-cent wings every Monday. Plus, there's the kids menu, and Wings Etc. is family-friendly with video games in the dining room. And the whole community is excited about how Wings Etc. is locally owned and operated, and they're proud to support local athletes, their families, schools, and teams. I guess Wings Etc. is a really big deal around here.
Okay, this is the time, and your local Ford dealer is definitely the place. Why? Because this is Ford Truck Month, folks, where you can save big time on Ford F-Series, the #1 selling trucks in America for 39 years straight.
Let me hear you say truck. Yeah, let's crank it on up. Yeah.
Ford F-150 and Super Duty, making every other truck brand history. This is the time, and this is Ford Truck Month. See your local Ford dealer today.
And now, your ESPN Radio Network local weather forecast.
National Weather Service calling for sunshine, about 61 today. Tonight, cold down to 37. We'll hit 66, sunny tomorrow. Slight chance of rain on Thursday with a high in the middle 60s. Same for Friday, about 69. And Saturday, 72, 75. Plenty of sunshine by Sunday. And next Monday, a slight chance of rain in 73.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast right here on the ESPN Radio Network. For the Saturday Morning Express. Catch it every Saturday morning from 9 till 10 a.m. on SEMO, ESPN.
It is the Red Hawks Coaches Show. We are at Wings, etc. in Cape Girardeau, and we are here for the next 3 weeks following today. We will be at Wings in Cape next week, back here in Jackson in 2 weeks, and then our final spring show in 3 weeks. We'll wrap up at the Cape Girardeau Wings, etc. location. You're invited to join us for lunch. You're going to be eating lunch anyway. Why not join us here at Wings, where they've got a comfortable, laid-back atmosphere. They have great food and friendly service, and their lunch specials, their daily half-pound lunch specials start at just $6.99. They have food and drink specials throughout the week, including their 59-cent wings on Mondays. And parents, they have a kids-friendly menu. I know our kids love the menu here at Wings, etc. They're open 7 days a week, late on the weekends because the games go late. And don't forget, no Cardinal baseball tonight, but the Redbirds and the Brewers will be playing tomorrow night, and this is your Cardinal headquarters. You can watch the Redbirds in high def at Wings, etc., both in the Jackson and the Cape locations. Thanks to Cindy Gannon, who joined us earlier on the Walk for Women. Cindy Knutson is going to be performing for us a little bit later in the show as well. She is going to join us, and she has been involved since the very first Walk for Women's Athletics. Let's welcome in Red Hawks softball player Riley Hayes. Riley, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Did you get to order off of the menu?
Not yet, but compliance did say that Cindy could buy my lunch. So
All
that's
right.
good. We checked it with Rachel Blunt first. So
Okay, so when you hear that as a college student, the
Absolutely.
opportunity to get a lunch, this is huge news.
This is a big deal.
I'm
It's a big
guessing
deal.
you have perused the menu already.
Very well. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
What are we in store for on the Riley Hayes lunch schedule today?
I'm not sure. I like their berry almond chicken salad. That's good. And it provides protein and vegetables at the same time. So good
All
for
right.
practice later, you know?
There we go. That's terrific. Now, you guys, the softball team getting ready to head to St. Louis University tomorrow. So what's the practice schedule today?
Today we do a light day, a lot of BP, and they have a pitcher that throws upper, 50s, mid 60s, and so a lot of up pitches, and so we'll be keeping flat bats and swinging at them, trying to take balls out and hit balls well, square them up. Just fundamental softball, really. I think that's our key for this year is just fielding ground balls, doing the things that we can control, and winning ball games that way, and not trying to do too much. So.
All right, we hear 50, 60 miles an hour from a softball pitcher. Those are familiar with baseball, mid 80s to low 90s. You're talking high 80s, low 90s. That's a good collegiate fastball. What's a good collegiate fastball in softball?
I think upper 60s. We faced an Arkansas pitcher last week that the gun says 72, but it didn't feel 72. So probably 60, 68 would be about right to have quick hands and stuff like that. So not bad. Just getting the front foot down earlier is all you have to do. So
Riley Hayes, a sophomore catcher for the Red Hawks. Now, I did some catching in my day. Why did you decide that catching was your position?
My dad loves to tell the story. He said that I tried to control the field from every position that I was at. And
you were bossy.
I'm kind of bossy. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So he put me behind the plate in some gear and saw that I could be scrappy and saw that I could chatter a little bit. And it kind of stuck since I was 8. And so I've been there ever since.
All right. You hit 4 home runs last year, second most on the team. I see you've hit 1 so far this year, but boy, you are a hot hitter. Right now, you've hit in safely in 9 of your last 10. You've raised your average about 80 points in the last 10 games. What has been going on with your swing?
A lot of mental work, really. My swing hasn't changed much, even from last year to this year. I'm really just trying to keep the back shoulder up and square the ball up. And if I get a good square ball, then it'll go out. But looking for line drives, ground balls up the middle, and then we get lucky with one over the fence once in a while. So coach is really instilling in us a lot of mental game and knowing that we've out-prepared our opponents. And instead of just, we don't have to be just better than them, we're out-preparing them as well. And so that's been really important in our program. And I think that's really just shown in my hitting in the past 3 weeks, I guess.
So St. Louis tomorrow, doubleheader. You hit your first collegiate home run against the Billikens.
I did last year at home. It was a fun game. We were down by 3, I think, and got to put one over on their best pitcher, and it was really fun. My team was super supportive, and for them to see their faces rounding third coming home was a super special moment. Won't ever forget it, being hit on the helmet a million times coming across the home plate. Put us back in the ball game, and we got to win that ball game, and so got to split with them last year, and looking to come out this tomorrow and just enjoy playing against girls that we've seen before, pitchers that we've seen before, and putting balls in play and not necessarily trying to jack one, because that's when you get a pop up to the second baseman, but really just getting on base first and foremost, and then going from there and scoring some runs. So
now you're from Jefferson City, so it's not a long trip for your parents to come and watch you play. That's nice.
Yeah, that's very nice. That's pretty much as close as I get to home. We got to go to Mizzou last year in a midweek, and that's about 30 minutes from Jeff City. So, and then Mizzou comes to us next week in a midweek, actually. So we won't get to go back to Columbia, but going back to St. Louis is great. There's a ton of girls on our team from St. Louis in that area, and so a bunch of fans, a lot of our family gets to come and see us compete, and that just adds a little bit more of a cherry on top to being able to play.
So you're playing St. Louis, and I know just looking at the Red Hawks roster, you've got some St. Louis flavor there. So the rivalry is familiar, I'm guessing, with a lot of these student athletes.
Sure. We know just about every girl on their team. We've either played with them or competed against them growing up, all in travel ball. And so it brings a little bit of comfortability, I guess, to it, and seeing pictures and knowing arms and things like that. And so, but it also heightens the rivalry a little bit more of just bragging rights. They're not in our conference, and but they're good competitors anyway. And so it allows us to get a head up on them and just kind of have it for it's the last time we'll play them this year. And so for the rest of the year, we get to kind of talk a little trash here and there.
Well, you guys, you had a weekend this past weekend where you faced the undefeated Jacksonville State Gamecocks. They won the doubleheader, but they were competitive games. Is that the best team you've played in the OVC so far?
I'm not sure. I think if we come out and play our best and can control what we can control, then we've got a good chance to win. And minimize our errors on defense and then come back with just good at bats. I think that's when we put ourselves in a good position. And I'm not sure if we did that during Jacksonville State games this weekend. And I think that's where we came up on the short end. I think we could have beat them, at least for sure, in one of the games. And that's really disappointing. But being able to see that there is a postseason and that anything can happen in that postseason gives us a chance to beat them later.
All right. You got to finish in the top 8 to make the OVC tournament. And it had to be neat for you because it had been several years since the Red Hawks had been back in the OVC tournament. Your freshman year, you get to go.
Sure. Being under new management and new coaching, being under Coach Redburn's first year, that was really special for us freshmen. And being able to have an impact on that and get some playing time and some at-bats as well. It was really cool to see a postseason, what it was like in college, and very different from high school ball. And just the energy that it brings, and there were some upsets and anything can happen, and it was just really, I guess, revitalizing to see that we could win a tournament and we could make a regional and go and see how far we can actually take this thing once you get to postseason.
Riley Hayes, Red Hawks sophomore catcher on the softball team, is our guest. Now, you are a journalism multimedia broadcast major at Southeast Missouri State. There's a lot of words there. Tell us just exactly what that major entails.
Yeah, so right now as a sophomore, I am working more in print with the Southeast Arrow, our student newspaper, and because that's like the foundation of journalism is what we've been taught, which is in print. And I get to work a little bit with just script writing, and I write a lot of feature stories for the Arrow, and that's been really fun, covering sports features on student athletes. And seeing their success and things like that. And I get to be behind the scenes on the side of athletics, but also on the side of their coverage. And it just means a lot of interviews, a lot of coordinating, a lot of times in front of a keyboard and trying to figure out the words to say to correctly portray their success. And it's a lot more time, and there's not really assignments. It's more of projects and a lot of words. No numbers, but a lot of words, which is fine.
How often do you pull up the online thesaurus and dictionary?
A lot. It's actually a tab open all the time. It's never closed because I use it with whatever I'm doing. So any way I can tweak a word to solidify really what I'm trying to say about an athlete is really the most important and what makes a good story.
All right, tell us some of the articles that you have written thus far, and then we'll ask you about the one that everybody's getting ready to read here very shortly.
Sure. I think my favorite story that I've got to write this year is about an athlete, a sprinter on our track team. His name's Eric Paisley, and his mom passed away when he was 7, and so it was kind of a more feature story on his life. And he broke some records and got to go on to postseason for the Red Hawks, and really just got to get down to the nitty gritty of what makes him successful and how he overcame that tribulation. And it was just neat to see his mentality. And I learned a lot from even writing that story as an athlete. And the paper that's getting published tomorrow, me and Matthew Mormon, my sports editor, got to convince our head editors to write a center spread. So when you open the middle of the paper, the center spread on left-handed pitcher Joey Lucchese for Southeast Baseball and right-handed pitcher Clay Chandler, and the success that they've had this year. And having a softball background, it was really interesting to write a baseball story of kind of knowing behind the plate as well, learning a lot from them and their pitches and mental stuff. And so I've really enjoyed being able to get inside of athletes' heads, because you see stats all the time, and you don't really think about what's behind it in the 20-hour weeks that they're putting in to get those stats to where they are. And so Joey right now is standing at number 1 in the nation for strikeouts, and Clay is 26. And so huge numbers, and even ERA, both of them leading the OVC 1 and 2. And so it was an easy story to write. Their success is basically laid out for you, and I'm getting to see behind the scenes of that was really interesting for me.
I'm not going to say there's a Riley Hayes jinx, but they both lost their last time out.
I know.
Okay, I'm not throwing a Sports Illustrated jinx on you there or anything, but statistically, these are the top 2 baseball pitchers in the Ohio Valley Conference. What I think is interesting with you doing a feature on them, they are very different personalities, aren't they?
Absolutely. Joey is routine oriented. His Monday through Friday, even Saturdays and Sundays, are planned out to the T. Mentally, physically, and whatever he's doing, he's on a routine, so he is able to pitch on Friday and do his best. And Clay is more of a relaxed kind of guy, and also adrenaline guy when he's on the mound. And I think everyone I've talked to about him has pegged him as feeding off of energy. And he's excited when he's on the mound, and then he comes off of the field or whatever it is, and is a little bit more reserved. And he's adorable in itself. And Joey's just a goof, and they're just very different. And it's cool to see how they've used their differences and taken some ownership of their differences, and then taken them to the field and been so successful.
The Red Hawks, by the way, those 2 pitchers will be pitching at Kappaugh Park on Friday and Saturday. When does your article come out? When can we read the latest Riley Hayes spread here?
Tomorrow morning. The paper gets published and comes into print to our offices around 5 o'clock on Tuesday nights, and then Wednesday morning they're available to read. So,
all right. Would you like to pursue writing? Would you like to pursue television? Would you like to pursue radio? What is in your future, or are you just open to kind of see how it all develops?
Yeah, that's the ultimate question, kind of day to day. I'm learning a lot about all the areas, and that's great for a program at a university to be able to provide all of that. Coming into college, I thought I would do all sports broadcast, and then getting to dabble with words and print a little bit more. I've gotten to enjoy that a lot more than I thought I would. And so I'm not sure right now at all. I'm still a sophomore, so I have a lot of time, but getting to work with words and enjoying that more right now is what I'm pursuing at the moment.
Well, you'll learn whether you decide that you're not going to go for writing it's television or radio or whatever it is, writing skills are the most essential, basic thing that you will need.
Sure.
I use my writing every day to write sportscasts and write different things. The experience you're getting now with writing will be the most important skill that you develop. I promise you that.
Good.
Has anyone told you that?
Yes, all my professors.
Absolutely have to have the writing skills. All right, we're going to give your Twitter account here. You got an extra A in your name here, right? R. Hayes is where you are on Twitter. RHAAYES.
Yeah, there's really no reason. The R Hayes normally with one A was taken when I made it, and so that's why.
I thought maybe you throw your softball number at the end, maybe R. Hayes, and then the softball.
My softball number has changed like every year I've played because I'm not really big on number. Like I was like 11 to follow in my sister's footsteps, and then 9, and then 1, and then come to college, and I was a freshman, and they said, "Here's number 6," and I was like, "Okay," and so that's really how I am landed the way I am.
So are softball players not as superstitious as baseball players?
I don't want to say that, but I personally am not. I don't really have
Those two guys you talked to the other day, I bet they're superstitious.
a little bit. Joey for sure, and Clay not as much, but in the article it says he skips his foot with the right leg every time and doesn't put the ball in his glove until this happens and little things like that. And so that was interesting. But I do know a few baseball players that are strict with superstition and whatever. But for me, it's just trusting the fact that I can play however I feel or however I look, or if I have a bad BP session the day before game day, doesn't mean I'm going to strike out every at bat. And so trusting myself that I've prepared enough to not need superstition or anything like that. So
you'll be fine if you just don't step on the chalk.
Sure.
All right. Riley Hayes joining us. She is a sophomore catcher for the softball team. Good luck to them tomorrow in their doubleheader against the St. Louis Billikens. And then where are you? You're at UT Martin for 3 this weekend, right?
We are. Yep. Really upset that I'm not going to be at the Walk for Women, being able to be behind the scenes for that this year. But we will compete against UT Martin in a 3-game series, and hope to get a sweep for sure. They're a very beatable team, and so I'm looking to take 3 from UT for sure.
All right. You can read her in the Southeast Arrow. They are online too, and they are on Twitter. So lots of ways you can read Riley Hayes, and you can follow her on Twitter, R Hayes, 2 A's, and HAAYES, R Hayes on Twitter. Riley, best of luck. Thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Riley Hayes. We're going to talk with Cindy Knudsen to wrap up the Coaches Show. When we come back, it's Wings, Etc., SEMO, ESPN.
Maybe it's cold, but this weather's got you thinking about heading to the bar for an ice-cold Coors Light. Maybe it's a bar built into the steep cliff face of the Rocky Mountains with a waterfall that pours down on a multitude of Coors Lights, chilling them with the frigid power of a Rocky Mountain stream. You order one and it suddenly appears in your hand. It's so cold you feel like a giant eagle riding on cool winds, content with your foray into Rocky Mountain country. You forgot about the weather already, didn't you? Thanks, Coors Light. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Great beer, great responsibility.
The conversation has been growing about Wings, Etc. See, Wings, Etc. has those award-winning jumbo wings. They're popular for both dine-in and carry-out. Now, the word is getting out about Wings, Etc.'s appetizer lineup. From the ultimate nachos to the deep-fried pickle spears, frankly, they're irresistible. Friends are sharing time together at Wings, Etc. They've got dining rooms filled with HD TVs tuned to the best sports programming, including NFL Sunday Ticket. The people at the next table are talking about Wings, Etc.'s daily half-pound lunch special, starting at just $6.49. Plus, Wings, Etc. has food and drink specials throughout the week, including 59-cent wings every Monday. Plus, there's the kids menu, and Wings, Etc. is family-friendly with video games in the dining room. And the whole community is excited about how Wings, Etc. is locally owned and operated, and they're proud to support local athletes, their families, schools, and teams. I guess Wings, Etc. is a really big deal around here.
And now, your ESPN Radio Network local weather forecast.
National Weather Service calling for sunshine, about 61 today. Tonight, cold, down to 37. We'll hit 66, sunny tomorrow. Slight chance of rain on Thursday.
The reading classes. That was a tough day, wasn't
Same
it?
for Friday, about 69, and Saturday, 72, 75, plenty of sunshine by Sunday. And next Monday, a slight chance of rain,
so it doesn't
73.
slide on you.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast right here on the ESPN Radio Network. This is your local home for Mike and Mike, the Sports Huddle.
A pair in every room.
Get it all right here on the SEMO ESPN Sports Network.
Final segment, Red Hawks Coaches Show. We are at the Jackson location of Wings, etc. And don't forget, we will be back in the Cape location tomorrow, thanks to Cindy Gannon and Riley Hayes, who joined us earlier. Now we're going to be joined by Cindy Knutson. And if you recognize that name, Jay Knutson, the former mayor of Cape Girardeau and a current Board of Regents member at Southeast Missouri State. So you really get it on both sides. You get the political angle
Absolutely.
when your husband gets home, and you get to find out what's going on at the university.
All that and more. And you had asked earlier what all I do, and it's keeping up with him and all his community things. And he's president on the Board of Regents, and it keeps us really in the loop on community happenings.
Well, one of the big community happenings is what we spoke about earlier, and that is the Walk for Women. And you've been involved since the very beginning.
Yes, with joy. Cindy contacted several of us. It's been over 9 years ago now, to present this idea and dream that she had for the university and student athletes.
You know, when you hear about an endeavor like this, it's never been undertaken before. Do you sometimes see the vision with somebody and say, hey, you know, I think it's got a chance? Or do you just humor someone like Cindy and say, oh, no, we're behind you, but thinking, boy, that sounds like an uphill battle?
Well, you know Cindy, so you know it's not there's a real good chance that it's going to happen. And when she puts her heart in something, then, you know, it's makes you want to be a part of it. And we've been around her a long time and know her commitment to the university and what she wants. And when she explained this to us, it took a little bit, but it has really, over the past 9 years, really turned into something great and evolved into something very special.
And this has really become a labor of love for you as well.
It has. Several of us have been with her through most of it, and I've been fortunate to be a part of it every year. We missed the actual day of the walk last year due to a commitment out of town, but it was the first of the 9 that I wasn't able to be here, and I wasn't happy about it. A lot of this work doesn't just happen the day of the walk. It's prep from, she calls us, I think, late September and says, okay, get your planning and idea shoes on. And there may be a couple of wine offerings within the planning team that she keeps kind of all close, but we brainstorm from October till 2 days before the event, and the building of sponsors and the work, that's when a lot of the work done, and it culminates that special day, which ours is this Saturday.
That's just it. I mean, all of your connections with as long and as heavily involved as you've been in Cape Girardeau County, I would think that, boy, that is really an advantage when you're going out and you're trying to, you know, put together sponsorships for a big event. Events need sponsors.
It is. That's very true. And they realize the cause that it's for and how important it is, and how the community and city and the university all need each other and work so well together.
You have a good Cindy Gannon story for us.
Oh my goodness. I wish I'd had time to prep for that.
Oh, I should have given you that earlier.
You should have. There's several out there. Actually, just one that happened in the last 24 hours. We're trying to work on getting the T-shirts. They had a little hitch in those, and we usually have those for all our walkers on the Turn-In Tuesday, which is today at the bank. But they should be with us by Wednesday or Thursday, and I can't tell any of the secrets yet till I know all the truths from her.
I understand. And this is at First Missouri State Bank, where Jay Knutson is. I don't know what his title is.
Executive Vice President.
I was going to say, I know he's bigwig
Well,
over there.
one of them,
Now,
maybe.
is he responsible for any of this?
He absolutely is, and the bank and so many great banks around the community participate and help us. But he actually, Cindy contacted me for me. I'm either Jay's wife or Gunner's mom usually in my life, and but this one she wanted me to help where I could and use my contacts and networking, and along with a lot of other super women and friends.
Cindy Knutson, who has been with the Women's Walk since year 1. This is year 9. Tell me what you have seen since the first walk up until the walk that is going to happen on Saturday. How you seen this thing evolve?
We've seen great young ladies come through, great student athletes come through and be the receiver of and benefit from this. From the first meeting she had with us when she presented this to about 40 other ladies in the community, the potential student athletes come and speak to us. And when they gave their testimony on how they could be there and what they could do with their lives after being given a scholarship, or if their education finances were, helped, assisted, it brought tears to our eyes. And it just brought home the importance of um, helping students get their education, and then sending them on out into this community, nearby community, a community, to be the person they're supposed to be and help. So that has been the biggest thing for me over the years, is to see the really cool people that benefit and come out of this.
And I would guess getting to meet some of them, hear their stories, and maybe even
just like Riley and
get
and knowing her
shared with
story.
emails and notes to, hey, I can't thank you enough. Look at what this has done for me.
That's right, and they let you know that they're all very grateful and thankful, and that's the cool thing about part of the day. It won't be this Saturday with the softball team, but since they'll be out of town, but you get to walk with them, you talk with them, and you can meet the actual people that are going to benefit or be a part of the program.
Now, will Jay be there?
Jay will be there.
Okay, he won't be wearing the bicycle shorts, though.
No.
You can assure us of that.
No bicycle shorts, no bandana. No, he'll be just a normal guy with the Women's Walk T-shirt.
All right, and it's a big, just to say, hey, we're just gonna have a bunch of people show up and we're gonna walk 1.6 miles. There's a lot more that goes into the planning and the coordinating, and I know you help with all of that.
Well, sure, and like I said, we usually start in October, and Cindy's a great leader on that. She just kind of makes you want to help, makes you want to do it.
That's a good coach, though, right?
She's a great coach.
You got to
She's
be a
had
good
all
motivator.
that experience. Yeah, she's got it.
All right, and this will be year number 9.
Mhm.
It's 425,000, I think now. Do you guys think you can get to that 500,000 mark?
I would love to. She usually really challenges us and makes us get out there and
She's tightening the screws.
Yeah, it's because it's getting close.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Saturday will be a big day, and if something comes in the following week, don't think it won't be added to the pot. So, but we're all working hard to see what Saturday holds.
Well, thanks so much for all the time that you have volunteered over the years.
love
and
it.
We hope that the weather cooperates and it is a resounding success on Saturday. Thanks for squeezing us in today.
Oh, gosh, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it very much. Glad to be here.
Cindy Knutson joining us. And that is going to put a wrap on our coaches show here from Wings, Etc. in Jackson. Thanks again to Cindy Knutson, Cindy Gannon, and Riley Hayes. And don't forget to read the Southeast Arrow starting tomorrow, and you'll get to see Riley's article about Red Hawk pitchers Joey Lucchese and Clay Chandler. We'll get you back into ESPN radio programming. Hope you'll join us at the Cape location for Wings, Etc. next Tuesday at 12 noon. That'll do it from here. So long, everybody, from Wings in Jackson.